So our topic for presentation today would be, he who loses his individuality attains the universal reality. Okay? He who loses his individuality attains the universal reality. So today, let me take you on a journey in finding out what do we mean by this statement. But just before we move on further, here is a passage which is attached to the topic. Let me read it out for you. Dear boys, accept my love and blessing. I received your letters. I was so happy. Boys, how are you? I am always with, in, around. Be happy. Youth is a flame of life to reach the highest peak of attainment. Total surrender to God, Sai, leads one to the abode divine. Having lost the individual I, one attains the universal I. Art is the harmonious blend of physical, mental, and spiritual energy. He who loses his individuality attains the universal reality. God, Sai, judges man by his thoughts, not by his external appearances. Doing one's duty, however small, in an unattached manner, gives rise to the awakening of self-awareness. Happiness springs from self-awareness. Now, moving forward to the questions. So we have two questions to answer in this journey of ours today. Hopefully, we would be able to address both questions. The first one is, how can we elevate art it to the level of being the harmonious blend of physical, mental, and spiritual energy? Okay? How can we elevate art into the level of being the harmonious blend of physical, mental, and spiritual energy? Next, how do you attain the universal I? So the first question here perhaps wants us to ponder on the methodology, or how can we make art or elevate art or appreciate or perceive art in such manner that it is a blend of physical, mental, and spiritual energy. And the second question here wants us to perhaps ponder upon what is the concept of universal I, and perhaps how can we attain this universal I. So let me start off by showing you this picture. The first time I looked at this picture, I was just going through a few searches online to find painting Satya Sai Baba. And this picture came, it kind of struck me. Because I've never seen Swami like this. Looks very odd, you know. I thought the painter could have done a better job at painting Swami, because in my memory, I could not recall Swami looking this way. But lo and behold, I actually found a photo where he actually looks like that painting, you know. So it actually gives me he gave me an insight, perhaps to start off this topic today by addressing the art of the physical appearance of Swami itself. The previous avatar of Swami is Shirdi, in that particular physical appearance of his. And as Swami took this birth in this physical form, he's completely different. It's a different manifestation of art. Why I choose to use the word art here is because
you didn't lock the door last night.
okay. So the reason why I chose to use the word art here is because we all fall in love with Swami's physical appearance. We fall in love with Shirdi Sai's physical appearance. If it is not an art, if it's not a divine art, how can the human mind be so intrigued by Swami? Of course, you cannot deny the fact that the personality, the divinity within the body itself plays an important role. But similarly, I don't think anyone, any devotee of Sai would deny the fact that Swami's physical form itself is a grand manifestation of an art. So moving forward, going through the changes or how Swami's body or Swami's physical appearance had changed from the beginning. If you look in the center when he was younger and in his maybe late teens, early 20s, 30s, and finally 50s and 60s. It's the same Swami though we may think the same body, but of course, if you have gone deeper into biology, you would know that all your cells constantly die and new cells are reproduced. Your blood cells, your skin cells, your muscle cells, basically all the cells in your body, change and form new versions of yourself. So similarly, this is a great manifestation of art. And I would like to start off our presentation by perhaps appreciating that we are all a manifestation of the divine art itself. We are all the manifestation of the divine in this physical form. You may want to think that, or some people are inclined to think that this body is just flesh, blood, and flesh and bones and whatnot. But look at Swami. How beautiful his appearance is. How captivating his look is. One look, even from this PowerPoint slide, it pierces through you. How can you deny the fact that this is a piece of art? So moving forward, this is wonderful video.
When we look around, when we see this beautiful creation, the huge mountains, the valleys, the rivers, we wonder who is behind this entire creation. In fact, Swami says, who can put a red beak on the green body of a parrot? Which artist can replicate the exact colors of the feather of the peacock? He says, God is the greatest artist. Chitrambulu Vichitrambulu. This whole creation is filled with the mystery of the Lord. So when this creation is a manifestation of the Lord's will, how much are we aware of its mysteries?
So this video quite accurately brings out the point that the entire creation is a divine manifestation of art itself. Your own body, the mind, the space around you, the materials that you own, the people that you come in contact with, the energies that transact with you on a day-to-day basis, the sounds that you hear, the breath that you take, how can you deny this as something besides art itself? So moving to our first question, how can we elevate art to the level of being the harmonious blend of physical, mental, and spiritual energy. So we had two person in our group the last time. I hope I can do justice. If Sister Geeta and Sister Komal is here, of course, I would like you to unmute yourself and maybe explain your points here. So what Sister Geeta says is her way or her mode of connection to the divine is through singing. So the physical aspect of singing is the raga and tala. The mental aspect of singing is the bhava. And the spiritual aspect is the spiritual energy that we get. So similarly, a very good example would be when we go for Thursday bhajans or house bhajans, or in fact, when we're even in the restroom or anywhere and we're singing something, naturally you realize that there is a particular beat, there's a particular pitch, there's a particular raga that we follow and we sing. And there's a particular mental energy, there's this vibe, If you really go deep into this vibe, different ragas bring out different vibe in your mind. Some ragas bring you this energy, some raga brings you this soothing calmness. And ultimately, it gives you a level, it elevates you to a level of being one with the divine. Okay, and this is where the spiritual energy of yours gets charged. Sister Komal, on the other hand, says that her way of manifesting art is by preparing prasadam for Swami. So the physical component of it is preparing prasadam itself. The mental component of it is the love. When you prepare something to Swami, or for anyone for the matter, it is an act or a gesture of sacrifice, a gesture of love, a gesture of compassion, a gesture of even gratitude. So just by doing something as simple as preparing prasadam, your mental, the emotions that get charged in your mind space, the thoughts that are produced during that period of time, and ultimately leading to service or elevation of your own consciousness and your own soul as well. So now moving to the question of, does God actually love music? And we have a beautiful photo of Goddess Saraswati here as a evidence that indeed God loves music. And who better to explain this besides Swami?
चित्त चोर यशोदा के बाद नवनीत चोर तो पार चित्त चोर यशोदा के बाद नवनीत चोर तो पार गोपाल 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 गोवर्धन गिरितर రాగతాళంతో చేరినటువంటి గానము అందరికీ మాధుర్యంగా ఉంటుంటుంది.
That song in praise of God with all the melody makes everybody blissful.
అటు రాగతాళం లేకుండా ఏ చోరా చిత్త చోరా రా అని పిలిస్తే అందరికీ కోపం వచ్చేస్తుంది.
But on the other hand, if you address God as a thief straight away, without any singing, without any melody or the beat,
రాగతాళముతో చేరినటువంటి గానము ఎంత మాధుర్యంగా ఉంటుందో మీరు తప్పక యోచన చేయండి.
The music rendered, the correct beat and the tune will be relished, accepted by everybody.
వీరందరూ కూడాను ఇట్టి రాగతాళంతో చేరినటువంటి గానమనే భగవంతునికి మాధుర్యంగా అందించి వారు అట్టి మధురమైనటువంటి భావాన్ని పొందారు.
That's the reason why people sang the glory of God in music with all the tunes and the beat made God happy.
కనుక ఈ గానం లోపల ఇంత మాధుర్యం ఉంటుండాలి.
That is the greatness and the sweetness in music.
ఇట్టి గానం చేత మనం భగవంతుని ఏ విధంగానైనా పొందవచ్చును.
With music you can please God.
కనుక మీరు ప్రతి ఒక్కరు కూడాను భగవంతుని పొందాలనుకుంటుంటే మాటలతో తప్ప ఏమాత్రం కూడా మీరు పొందలేరు.
The mere vocal expression, verbal expression will not please God.
రాగతాళంలో కూడా చేరినప్పుడే అట్టి భగవంతుని మీరు హృదయానికి అద్దుకుంటారు.
It should be music full of melody that pleases God.
కనుక మధురమైనటువంటి యొక్క గానం చేత, మధురమైనటువంటి యొక్క పలుకుల చేత భగవంతుని మనం ఎంతైనా పొందవచ్చు.
The good music, the sweet words, the nectarine words, the beautiful music will certainly please God.
Swami here quite convincingly tells us that yes, in fact, God loves music, and there is a way for you to convey your love to God using music as a mode. Swami, in the initial part of this video, he says that if you just say Chitta Chora, Yashoda, Kebal, something, so it does not, without the proper raga, without the proper tune, without the proper pitch, it does not translate well, and that would not be a good offering to Swami. So similarly, when we offer music, just like what Sister Geeta had mentioned, she uses the physical aspect, which is the raga and the tala, the mental aspect, which is the bhava, and finally the union with the divine, the spiritual component itself. And Swami himself has said that with music you can easily please God. This is where I would like to introduce one personality. I would call her a divine personality itself. If you had gone through how, for those of you who don't know the lady on the left, she is MS Subbalakshmi. She has sung various or multiple times in front of Swami. And if you go through her biodata, she used to be under the tutelage of another guru, her family guru. And once her family guru told her that a great saint, an avatar has come, and now you should go to him to serve. And that is how she came in contact with Bhagavan. Ever since, it has only been an express of devotion every time she sits and performs in front of Swami. Millions enjoy her performance, and it is continually mesmerizing people and invoking devotion into everyone. So hopefully this video here, so this is a video showing the intimate moments that MS Subbalakshmi, who is a very famous Carnatic singer and our beloved Bhagavan's rare unseen connections.
That is MS, in whom the Bhakti Bhava is part of her mental fabric.
Namah Pranavartaya शुद्धज्ञानैकमूर्तये निर्मलाय प्रशान्ताय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः. Swami,
So I just pause here for our viewers who don't speak Tamil. So what Mother M.S. Subbalakshmi is saying that in front of everyone, there's a separate interview where she describes this moment where Swami has just asked her to speak. And she said she doesn't know what to speak, and Swami just forced her actually to just go in front and speak something. So while she's at the rostrum, she still does not know what to speak because she's so used to just singing. She's so used to expressing herself through music, through Carnatic music to the divine. When the divine has asked her to speak, she does not know what to speak.
வைகுண்டாதிபதி சுவாமி, நீ எங்களுக்கு அம்மாவா? ஆமாம். அப்பாவா? ஆமாம். ஆஷானா? ஆமாம். நண்பனா? ஆமாம். இறைவனின் அவதாரமா? ஆமாம். எங்களுக்கு இது எல்லாமுமா? ஆமாம், ஆமாம், ஆமாம். இது எல்லாமுமா? ஆமாம், ஆமாம், ஆமாம்.
You just freeze this moment here, you can see the joy in Swami's face because of the honesty and the childlike affection of a child to the mother. What M.S. Subbalakshmi asked, she says is that, Swami, are you our mother? Are you our father? Are you our preceptor? Or are you everything? And then she says, yes, yes, yes. And look at Swami's face. The moment she said that. It is not, she did not quote any Ramayana or Mahabharata or any Vahini or any, Satya Sai speaks, nothing. She didn't quote anything. But from the honesty of her speech itself, you can see the content of the Divine Mother from the expression that he's giving.
There are always visitors, visitors, and more visitors. Young musicians seeking her blessings. Old friends dropping in to talk about old times.
Made about all over Tamil Nadu singing Bharati songs, which drew enormous crowds. Soon, I threw myself into the freedom struggle. We are happy that we are born in a country where great
just like to rewind this part, hoping that we can all see that it is not she who is helping Swami, but Swami is helping her, supporting her off the stage. This is where I would like to bring one point that Swami has always mentioned, that there is no one bit of ego in himself. And we are all his children, and his love for us is of 1,000 mothers combined. So, and this one moment here, this few seconds here, is a great evidence to that. So, dear brothers and sisters, the most important part is, I know a lot of us here don't sing, and we connect to God in various ways, and Swami has connected to us in different ways. There's no point in comparing your connection to mine or similarly. However, making sure that there is some form of honesty, there's some form of genuine expression of your divine love for the Lord plays an important role. And this is the exact life of MS Subbalaxmi, and also what Sister Geeta had mentioned. So Sister Geeta also mentioned, just to elaborate further, is the gradual progression of art from physicality to mentality to spirituality happened with years of practice and singing on many occasions. So in terms of physical, it was the lyrics. In the initial years, I was too self-conscious as to how I sounded, whether the lyrics, pronunciation, and the tune is accurate. However, I'm no longer hindered by these thoughts, even though it does appear at times when I'm too keen to perfect the singing. Nowadays, I have an affinity to recall bhajans effortlessly. I do not struggle to remember the lines, tunes, nuances, tala and raga, thus revealing that the individual I is no longer there to dictate the harmonious blending of physical, mental, and spiritual. If you are a bhajan singer, if you regularly sing, I think most of us do, there will come a point where this realization, where Sister Geeta mentions here, happens to all of us. It is a common realization that we all experience, where you don't have to recall or remember the lyrics, it just spontaneously comes. And sometimes there are moments where you might have even forgotten the lyrics, but the right time, the right second where you are supposed to give the lead singing, surprisingly it just comes. So similarly, what Sister Geeta also goes on to elaborate is that hearing the melody, you are spontaneously reminded of the lyrics. Melody and lyrics go hand in hand, and this leads to the visualization of the deity extolled in the bhajan song. From the visualization, I am transported to a vision of directly extolling the deity with the offering of the song. Eventually, I am transcended. I even transcend the vision of the deity and experience a oneness with the whole art form. So this is a wonderful way how Sister Geeta experiences the oneness, the transcendent oneness which is inherent within each and every one of us. And the final stage here, from visualization, she is transported to an experience of oneness with the whole art form, which is the entire creation itself. So now moving, since we have taken a lot of time in explaining or maybe discussing about art form and how we can be connected through music. So it would be unfair if I leave Namasmarana out of this. Now we'll just touch briefly on the importance of Namasmarana as a tool for salvation. Sairam. Sorry, just 1 second. So let's watch this video on how music alone music alone can be just instrumental, can be a display of raga and tala. But Swami always gives this advice to his students who are leaving the ashram, and they're going out to start their lives. Swami always tells them, listen to good music that will nourish your soul. So music that will nourish your soul can be well described by Namasmarana and bhajans itself. So this is a sharing by this sister on how Namasmarana has played an important role or vital role in her realization of the omnipresence of our beloved Bhagavan.
Sairam, Vani.
Sairam.
Vani has been a member of the Atlanta Sai Center for many years now. She served as the Bal Vikas coordinator. She's a familiar face around the Atlanta Sai Center. So Sairam, Vani, thank you for being with us here today. Is there any story that you'd like to share?
Sairam, thank you for the warm introduction. I'm really grateful for this opportunity, and I'm thankful to Swami and all the members for giving me this opportunity to share my experience today. So I wanted to share this very personal experience that I had about a decade ago. This was after Swami's Mahasamadhi in the year 2011 in the month of August. I was preparing to perform the Varalakshmi Puja at home, which I usually do every year. And that year, I had invited about 20-30 guests over for dinner after the puja. So since it's an elaborate puja, I wanted to do some preparation work ahead of time. So I was chanting Sai Gayatri in the back of my mind, and I was preparing some appetizer which I planned to serve to all the guests next day. So as I started preparing, I realized whatever I did might not be sufficient, so I planned to prepare another batch of the vada that I was preparing. So I went ahead and made another batch of the flour, and I think I was in a rush, and I did not mix the batter properly. But I was still chanting Sai Gayatri, and I tried to deep fry the vada, and suddenly one of the vadas just burst in the hot oil, and the entire hot oil, it just splashed all over the kitchen, and of course on my face and my neck, and it was all over the floor. It was a mess. And since the oil was burning for over an hour, my face was, it was just in pain, excruciating burning sensation and pain. I just couldn't bear it. And my immediate reaction was turn off the stove and go into the bathroom and wash my face with cold water. And my husband, all the while, he was like, okay, this is looking serious, so we need to rush you to the emergency room, so just get ready to get into the car. And I don't know, for some reason I had this thought, suddenly it came to my mind that why go to the ER this late in the night? It was already 10 p.m. Thursday night. So let us just call maybe Dr. Dodani uncle and then find out if I need to go. And I was still in pain. My face was burning, and it was just unbearable. I do not know why I thought of uncle. It was not that I had contacted him for any personal health reasons in the past. It just came into my head. But Raghuveer was, he was very sure that we needed to go see a doctor. So it's about a 10-minute drive from my house, and all through these 10 minutes I was in severe pain, and the AC was not helping. We had the windows rolled down. The cool air wasn't helping either. I was in severe pain, and then we go to the ER. And to our surprise and shock, as we enter into the lobby, we see Dr. Dodani uncle coming out of the ER lobby. And for a fraction of a second, I was like, is this real, or is this Swami coming out of the hospital? It was just, I was in surprise. I was in shock to see him there at that time of the day. So he came to us and he asked us what had happened, and Raghuveer told him. And in the meanwhile, he said he was there to visit a friend of his who was in the hospital and he was leaving. So after that brief interaction, he left, and we got checked into the hospital. As I was waiting for the doctor to come, I think it took about 10 minutes or so for the doctor to come see me. But a strange thing happened to me within this 10 minutes. Maybe after waiting for 5 minutes or so, I started realizing that my pain, my burning sensation, everything vanished. Like it was magic, as if something just magical happened and all the pain vanished. So I was telling Raghuveer, maybe we can just go back home. I don't feel any discomfort or no pain on my face or no burning sensation. So I just can't, I don't know what took place in that 5-10 minute interaction, or whatever bad karma I had to go through. Probably in that 30 minutes I went through, and then of course Raghuveer is like, no, we can't leave without the doctor having come this far. Let us get checked out. So I wait for the doctor, and the doctor comes, and she was shocked to see my face was fully covered in burns, and right from the forehead to my neck, and of course a lot of other places. So she said it was kind of 2nd-degree burns, and she wanted me to take some prescription ointments and some medication. So we get all that taken care, and then she said, okay, you can go home if you're feeling fine. All this while I was like, I don't know why I'm sitting here and waiting. So anyway, I thanked Swami in my heart and mind, and we decided to leave. So we come home, and I said, I don't need to take any ointment or any medication. I'm feeling perfectly fine. So I go back to bed, and next day morning, I notice that my kitchen, I have Swami's calendar up on the refrigerator behind my stove, behind me, where I cook. And I noticed that Swami's face on the calendar had all oil stains exactly where oil fell on my face. So I think Swami just took away the bad effects, whatever I was supposed to. So that's how he protected me. And I will never forget this incident. All I can think is it is Swami's Namasmarana that has protected me. It was like an armor. It has protected me from any harm. Whatever bad karma I think I went through for that 15-20 minutes, but Swami's Namasmarana definitely helped me and saved me. I'm truly blessed to have that experience and realize the importance of Namasmarana. That's what I wanted to share with all of you today. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Ishwara Sai Namo Namah. Om Sai Namo Namah. Shri Sai.
So dear brothers and sisters, of course Namasmarana is great. Of course the intensity at which we call Swami is also great, and constantly repeating his name also is great. But if you really love Swami, and if you like to avoid this situation from happening to you, so the best way is maybe getting an air fryer, investing in a good air fryer, and frying your vadas in the air fryer instead of in hot oil, because you can avoid the entire situation. And Piti Swami had to take that oil. He had to take all of the oil on his face and experience the pain, for our own mistake. So maybe after this, the moral of the story, of course, Namasmarana is one part. The other part is, as much as possible, trying to avoid all these oily foods and all that, can cause unnecessary cholesterol, and also it's worthwhile to invest in an air fryer, and you can fry healthy vadas like this Medu Vada here. There's a lot of recipes how you can fry other things as well. So then now let's move on to Sister Komal, talking about Vada and crying. And so Sister Komal has a different way of connecting to Swami. She says that while she prepares the monthly prasadam offering for the needy and the devotees, when she distributes it, it is a form of expression, or it's a form of art which she quite likes to use in order to connect to the divine. And in her own words, she says that I like to mix and match different flavors, ingredients, and create novel, authentic dishes to known menus such as snacks and sandwiches. I prepare food more than needed so that nobody goes home without the prasadam. Sister Komal, you should be in our center. So I go to Taman U. So please, if possible, pay some visit and bring some of your prasadam there as well, so we don't go back hungry. And I wish there are more people with this mentality around. I will get the best ingredients to give my best prasadam offering. So offering the prasadam to Swami in everybody. Being a foodie, I love to eat, I love to feed. Food is a tangible expression of love, especially mother's love. No wariness of their effort rendered in preparation of the food. Food is provided not for seeking approval, but the genuine expression of loving and sharing. This is a wonderful way of expression of her own love. We all have our own way of expression, and she expresses, Sister Komal here expresses her love by preparing food with love and with the attitude of kindness and sharing the food with those who are in need. So this brings us to the next topic of conversation here, Seva, which also ties to our second question of how can we attain the universal I? And Swami says through many of his speeches, he says that I will give you what you want now. So then when you are, when you come to him, then only he gives you, what he has come to give. And this is one of the gem or the jewel that I believe that he has come to give, the importance of seva. And maybe just before we move on, I would just like to add something to what I have read. So I'm very interested in Buddhist psychology and also the Buddhist way of thinking of how the soul either goes up the ladder and how it goes down or devalues, and I never understood the importance of seva, the importance of selfless service from a psychological perspective. Of course, the more you sacrifice yourself, naturally you don't have to be divine, or you don't have to be spiritual to know to do this. But if you're just a normal person, if you just keep on serving other people without the intention of getting anything in return, just say if you're an atheist and you keep on doing that, naturally itself, psychologically itself, what happens is that because you sacrifice your individual limited self, okay, that voice in you which keeps on saying, no, it's enough, I don't want to do this, I'm happy being this way, why is this person asking me for extra help, I'm fine doing this particular routine, I don't want to move out of my sleeping hours or waking up early in the morning. So that same complex, the ego complex in your body, which comes up with these thoughts and all that, it slowly gets thinner and thinner and thinner and becomes very light within yourself. And you have better control over it. And over a period of time, you will not see it as an obstruction for your limitless self to express itself. So that is one part of the psychological aspect of it. However, when I was going through this, what Buddha has discovered when he went inward is that through various ways, one can actually reach the stage of nirvana. And what Buddha himself has mentioned in his Dhammas is that through selfless service, not only Buddha, Ramana Maharishi, and Mother Meera, and various saints have also mentioned that through selfless service, you can not only reduce the ego or the limited self, but you can also elevate your soul. So the next time you come around, on the next birth that you take on this plane, will be a more fruitful birth, and it will be a birth where you are able to work on moving upwards in the soul's evolution rather than moving downwards. So now let's go through, this is a poem by Swami, and I will explain this poem. This is actually from Satya Sai Speaks, volume 30, 1997. Swami says here, is the Telugu poem. Sorry, I don't know Telugu, so I'll just read it in English. A bent branch may be straightened, a rock may be softened, but can a perverted mind be reformed? A bent branch may be straightened, a rock may be softened, but can a perverted mind be reformed? So this is a question for each and every one of us to reflect upon. Do you think a perverted mind can be reformed? So Swami goes on to say that, sorry, this thing is blocking up. Man has failed to recognize his divine identity. So now we're moving to the second question. He has failed to recognize his divine identity. This situation has to be changed. And how is it to be done? He says that it is the incorrigible perverted mind that accounts for man going astray. The mind is the root cause of man's happiness or sorrow, health, disease, his goodness or wickedness. What then is the meaning of man's search? It is the desire to experience the vision of the Atma or the Self. The different forms of devotional exercise in which people engage themselves are not really for experiencing God, but for some kind of mental satisfaction. The different forms of devotional exercise in which people engage themselves are not really for experiencing God, but for some kind of mental satisfaction. If you want to go on with these spiritual exercises, you must do so with only one aim in view, namely to get rid of the Anatma Bhava, forgetting the Atma and identifying oneself with the body. This is Anatma Bhava. You will then realize that the Atma is the only reality. The Anatma Bhava is like the darkness in a room. It has no existence of its own. The moment a light is brought, the darkness disappears. Swami says here, the reason why we cannot attain the universal I is because of the illusion. We are still stuck in the illusion or the delusion, whatever you may want to call it, that you are still the body-mind complex. And the whole part of being involved in devotional exercises and all, Swami says a lot of it is just some kind of mental satisfaction. But if you're really keen of experiencing the divine bliss or the divine realization of the Atmic consciousness, then you should really try to get rid of the attachment to the body, the attachment to the mind. And a very easy way that you can do this is by meditation. It is not difficult if you do it regularly. You don't have to do, all this advanced meditation or nothing. Just need to sit silently every day, focus on your breathing, start off and then calm your mind down. And once your mind starts to calm down and all these thoughts come, maybe you can just look at them as thoughts and then go back. When you keep on doing this, after some time, you realize that this mind is not me, because though the mind is part of me, but I am not it. And similarly, if you pay enough attention to your body, enough meaning that now we are usually not attentive of our body as the body moves. How many of you actually pay attention to the movement of your legs? The contact points between the legs and the road. The feeling of the stuffiness and the humid or the temperature in your shoes as you walk. The swinging of your hands as you walk. The breath as you walk. The sounds that you hear as you walk. Your posture as you walk. The location of your shoulders as you walk. The balancing of the head. The contact of the air to your skin as you walk. And the entire body moving and the energy transacting with everything around you as you walk. How many of you experience this? Once you experience this, when you pay so much of attention on your body, naturally itself, you will realize that you are not the body. So taking this moment to really build in that sankalpa that you want to be detached and you want to realize that at least you're not the body, you're not. So moving forward, both Sister Geeta and Brother Komal answered that, by doing a lot of seva, a lot of spiritual activities, that, as we have correctly mentioned, as Sister Komal has mentioned, and also being a single mother, it has actually brought her a lot of realization. And now let's move to this video here.
Om Shri Sai Ram. Dear brothers and sisters, it has been nearly an year and a half since the conflict erupted in Ukraine. Time has just passed like that. And after the initial outpouring of help and support, it is possible that for us who are far away from the conflict, a kind of fatigue has set in with regards to news about the conflict. It is possible that we have accepted this as the new reality. But the harsh reality, the truth from the ground there, is that going is very, very tough for the people. Livelihoods and even lives are being lost on a daily basis, and that makes it very clear that what we need is not a one-time solution, but a sustained effort of assistance. That is where it is so inspiring and heartening to note that the volunteers of the Sri Sathya Sai International Organization have considered this conflict as an opportunity to express selfless love and offer service to humanity with the intention that service to humanity is service to the divine.
Since the war in Ukraine, the humanitarian relief program of the Sathya Sai World Foundation has been supporting Ukraine with large purchases and shipments of medicines, food, sleeping bags, clothes, blankets, and many other things. This support is carried out by the European Sai organization in strong cooperation with the Ukrainian Sai organization. Parallel to this project, German volunteers are taking in Ukrainian refugees. Accompanying these people is not limited to providing them with an apartment only. We help with administration, dealing with officials, visiting the doctor, collecting furniture and clothing, assisting with looking for a job, registering children in schools and kindergartens, finding a football club, a dance school, or a suitable music band. It is very important to the Ukrainians who have found shelter at Germans to support their home country from Germany as well. So one day the idea of supporting orphanages in the Poltava region came up between Ukrainian and German volunteers. These orphanages already existed before the war. They look after children from the Poltava region who are completely or half orphaned. Within 2 days, contacts are made with the management of 2 orphanages in Poltava, and from there we receive 2 lists of things that are needed there: baby food, diapers, clothes and shoes, hygiene items, toys, bedding, towels, backpacks, school bags, mobile phones, laptops, and much more. Within the German Psi organization, we take this as an opportunity to collect the items from these lists at the annual national meeting on March 11th and 12th in Herbstein. The goods collected there go in 2 carloads from Herbstein to Salzgitter. From there, we ship them to Ukraine with private Ukrainian drivers. These drivers have proven to be very trustworthy. On Saturday, April the 1st, the first transport starts with 19 boxes from Herbstein. It reaches our contact person in Poltava 4 days later, and 1 day later this person delivers the package to the first orphanage. Already in Herbstein, members of the German group in Lehrte decide to organize an Easter event for the 2 orphanages on Sunday, April 2nd. Other members of the northern region also take part. In the following week, members of that group bring 20 Easter packages to Salzgitter. These packages are handed over to the Ukrainian driver on the same day, and they arrive at the orphanages in Poltava on Tuesday after Easter. Easter, called Pascha in Ukrainian language, is celebrated a week later in the Ukraine than in Germany. So our Easter packages reach the children in time for their Easter. We wanted to make the children happy with chocolate. Perhaps this is also a reason for the happy children's eyes.
Those that serve expect no reward, for service is its own reward. As Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba would beautifully say, when a thorn pricks the foot, the hand goes and pulls out the thorn. The hand does not expect any kind of gratitude or acknowledgement from the foot, because it has done this act knowing that it and the leg are one and the same. It is with this spirit that the Sri Sathya Sai International Organization volunteers from Europe have carried out this service. But then, service brings its own unexpected rewards.
On Friday, April 21st, and on 4 other moments in the month of May, we can again give packages to Ukrainian drivers. So between March 12th and the end of May, we were able to bring a total of 82 boxes to these orphanages. At the end of May, we are heavily surprised by receiving paintings from the Ukrainian children expressing their gratitude. From our contact person in Ukraine.
Greetings, I'm glad to know you. Please accept our sincere gratitude. Now it is especially important to stick together and support each other. Earlier, our family was also supported by families from Germany, Stuttgart, since our family moved from Chernobyl to another city. Every drop of help and support was important to us, because we were in an unknown city with nothing. If the children forget about the horrors they experienced even for a minute and feel joy, then we have not wasted our time. With thanks, Julia.
Dear brothers and sisters, there are many ways in which we too can participate in this glorious and wonderful service that is taking place in Ukraine. Those are all listed in the link given above. Apart from that, of course, one of the best services that we can render is to daily keep this region and the people of this region in our prayers. May we pray, Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. May everyone be happy, be peaceful. Thank you. Jai Sai Ram.
Sai Ram. And that concludes the video. And we are at the last slide of the presentation itself. And maybe we can just watch this video and I will sum up after this video.
Artificial, it sounds to our own ears. In our epics, we have this story about how the goddess Bhavani, when she forgets Shiva or she wills forgetting Shiva, she becomes Kali. And when she becomes Kali, she's on a rampage of destruction. When she's reminded of Shiva, she becomes the mother goddess again. In our lives, it's similar. When we are identified with the highest of ourselves, we are more generous, we are more giving, we are more loving, we are able to sacrifice. But when we get into a deficit syndrome, that is, we forget our connection with this enormous power that we have, we feel lesser. So we start grabbing, selfish living, survival instinct, all this makes sense.
I went toilet again.
So the identification is a very important exercise that we have to do. Constantly remind ourselves that I am him, I am this Atma, I am not the body. Swami says, I am not man, I am not animal, I am man. I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am the Brahman, I am the Atma. However artificial it sounds to our own ears, we have to constantly identify with it. Why should we constantly identify? This is a story in the Ramayana about how Bharata, the brother of Sri Rama, whose mother fought for his rights. And she fought for his rights, for her son's rights, because she came into the words of Manthara. And Manthara aroused in her a feeling of deficit. If Kausalya becomes the queen, she won't care about you. What will happen to you and your son? How many times we think and hear these words? What will happen to me? What will happen to my children? What will happen to if I don't do this or that? And once those ideas went into her, she immediately asked Dasharatha for those boons. But what happened when her son came? Her son refused to accept that gift. He went to the forest, searched for his brother, fell at his feet and said, brother, come back. You are the rightful owner of this throne. I cannot sit on it. When Rama insisted, he said, okay, give me your sandals. I will rule the kingdom in your name. And this Swami says, Bharata came and stayed in a small hut near the forest and managed the administration of the whole kingdom from there. He lived exactly as his brother lived. And what happened to Kaikeyi, who came into the deficit syndrome? She lost everything. She lost her son's goodwill. She lost her husband. She lost the love of the entire kingdom. And so we see, when you identify, and they say, Swami said that Bharata, because he used to think constantly of Rama, when Rama came back after 14 years in the forest, nobody could tell them apart because they looked so alike. Yat bhavam tad bhavati. As you go on thinking of something continuously, you become that. So therefore, identification with the highest principle in us is a sadhana.
Dear brothers and sisters, we have come to the end of our presentation. Just before we conclude, maybe reflecting, taking this moment to reflect on what ways can we identify with the universal I. In what ways we can live a life away from the deficit syndrome. In what way we can stay away from all the inner vices that cloud and pervert our mind. In what way we can connect to the limitless potential of the source of creativity and divine artist within each and every one of us. Taking this moment to really reflect, in what way can we become Him and realize the universal I as He did. With that, thank you so much for being here today. Jai Sai Ram. Back to you, Professor Suresh.
Thank you, Savitan. Very, very nicely done. All the talks that you spiced up the whole presentation also was very, very good and very, very encouraging. So let's open up to questions. We have another 10 minutes maybe. Any questions? Anybody?
Saram Suresh, James here. I want just to bring out some point that since we are talking about the God level, the universal I, right? Swami once said in the Second Hall, the silence, the bliss that you experience in meditation, at the meditation level, is actually God Himself. Initially, when I came to know Swami, I heard this, I was very happy, And then I read Professor Anil Kumar once asked Swami, when we do seva, we experience bliss. When we do bhajan, we experience bliss. And meditation also, when you reach a meditation level, also bliss. What is the difference? Anil Kumar in his book say, Swami said, the seva, the bliss you experience is temporary. The bhajan that you experience, the bliss is temporary. But the meditation is eternal. So, I was very happy and, in the sense that understand there's a different level. One is temporary, one is eternal. That's why I think Swami put the meditation as the first code of conduct. Of course, the bhajan and seva, all that will help the meditation. Otherwise, the meditation doesn't evolve without that as the foundation. Sairam.
Sairam. Thank you, James. Sabitan, you want to respond? There's nothing to respond. Just the
You answered the question. There's nothing to respond. But just to add on, I think we are all in different paths to self-realization. If you ask if Mother Teresa has meditated, Mahatma Gandhi has meditated, or any other non-meditator, if they have reached God or if they have realized themselves, we don't know. There's no way for us to be absolutely certain that meditation is the only way. Though I, of course, advocate for meditation, but for me, in all humility, I'm not sure if meditation is the only way to realizing Atmic consciousness. And maybe, who knows, there are a lot of people who just sang bhajan, and Swami has also spoke about them all this in past times. Their devotion in just through singing itself has gained them liberation, has gained them moksha, and has given them the transcendent experience itself. So I'm not very sure, Sairam.
Yeah, I think Sabitan brought up a very good point. Swami said, actually all the seva and I think nurturing spiritual growth, that day was mentioned also. When we do the seva, when we do bhajan and all that, and also the meditation, actually all are one. All are one. So the other one is not only meditation. Meditation is one of the very good way, right? But then Swami said, love is the final one. So if the seva, the bhajan, the meditation all can reach the level of pure love, then this path all lead to self-realization. The highest actually is love. Even you do meditation also to develop pure love. Without pure love, our meditation also doesn't reach meditation level. That's what I know, Sairam.
Yeah. Thank you. Anybody else? Any other comments? Actually, the universal I and the individual I, it's only a question of identification, isn't it? So the practicality of it is that, as what Chabitan said, the more and more you identify with larger and bigger things, the less and less the I comes to exert. So always to have a bigger goal, higher aspirations, then you find that we can unhook ourselves from the lower habits and tendencies. So in that way, we can keep ourselves continuously inspired to move towards the universal I. I think that's what this whole thing is. And there was one time where someone said, I am I, small I, exerting itself to become the big I. So identification is very important, and that identification is what that keeps us all entrapped in this world. And the more and more we get identified with all these things, so we just keep ourselves in this vicious cycle. So to break that, we need to look at identification.
Sairam, and just to add on, one realization that I would just like to share is, growing up, being a youth in the organization, is that when we see elders like, Suresh Anne, brother Billy, Uncle Reddy, Auntie Nalini, how, and then Auntie Chandrika, and the list just keeps on going. I don't think we have time to mention everyone, Brother James, so many people. So the thing is, when we as a growing up youth in the organization, we see how all these personalities that I've mentioned, how they identify to the limitless self, the inner self, because when a task is given to us, naturally what happens is that the limited self or the deficit self, comes up with this negative, thoughts like, can I do this? I have a working job. I have 8 to 5, this, that, on calls, this, blah, 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 and all. But somewhere down the line, when you look at these people and you say, they can do it, why you cannot do it? And then you start taking those steps. You start identifying, sometimes you see Suresh and sorry, to break this. Sometimes there's 2 meetings going on at the same time. 2 things at the same time. And then you're wondering, what is this? How can you reach this stage of doing 2 things at the same time? So this is a really limitless self, and this what motivates us in a very positive way to keep on aspiring. Keep on realizing that that whenever this limited self gives a thought or gives an urge to quit, then we should know better to actually follow the footsteps of these wonderful people and step ahead and connect to the limitless self.
Thank you, brother. Nice comment. Anybody else want to say anything? We got another, in fact, we don't have much time. We just got another 3 minutes more.
Sai Ram. The easiest way, I think, is just to imitate Swami or copy Swami. So one day we'll become like Swami. The easiest way. If you don't know anything about anything, the easiest way. Become God. Sai Ram.
Yeah, emulate Swami. Yes. Sai Ram. And anyone else?
Salam Suresh. One time Swami said, what is the true surrender? Which in this passage also mentioned about total surrender. So total surrender is a universal I. Swami used the word true surrender. He said as long as individual I, the small I one side, and God on the other side, that is not true surrender. So that is actually a very, is a very well called enlightening to me, like the small I and the big I supposed to be merged. It cannot be separate.
Okay. Thank you. And so, okay, so nothing else. We thank Sabitan and the whole team for really doing a very, very nice presentation, inspiring presentation, connecting so many aspects of spirituality to kindle our own spirits. We all actually, right now, we still got about 6 weeks more for the international conference in Sri Lanka. A lot of us are very extremely busy doing a lot of other things. Those who are coming, it'll be amazing. I think we'll get a very nice, good experience if you're coming. With these few words, thank you so much for being here, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, let's end our satsang today with this prayer or affirmation given by Swami. I'm God. I'm not different from God. I'm the Akhanda Para Brahman, that is the indivisible, supreme, absolute. I'm Satchit Ananda, meaning being, awareness, bliss. Grief and anxiety can never affect me. I'm ever content. Fear can never enter me. With that, Sai Ram, and God bless.
Sai Ram.
Thank you. Sai Ram, Zone 4 is a very good instrument of Swami. This is taking us towards Swami. And we are very progressive. So I really thank Dr. Suresh and the team. And I think Swami is always there with you all. And it's going to the higher level. Not just like that. And I thank you so much for that. Now the brothers and sisters presentation. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Sai
Ram.
Sai Ram, brother.
Sai Ram, thank you.
Sai Ram, thank you. Good night.
Sai Ram,
Ram,
thank you.
Good night.
Good night.